Hello everyone, happy Friday. It is Friday night, the weekend is here, and it's time for some stamping. This is Lita Gersa. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Cambridge, Ontario, Canada, and tonight I am so excited to go Halloween with you. So I am going to feature some projects made with the Magic in This Night suite from Stampin' Up! Now, let me just show you the suite in the catalog. Okay, I gotta tell you, first of all, I am not a Halloween fan, okay? We do not do the whole decoration thing, and my son gets a costume, goes out and gets some candy, that's kind of it, okay? But I love this suite. This is the first time, I think, in 10 years as a demonstrator, I have bought the Halloween suite in the catalog because I absolutely love this suite. So this is in the August-December mini catalog. It's on page 52 and 53. And I mean, look at the beautiful colors in this. And oh my goodness, I'm going to show you all of the products in a minute, but it just is so pretty and elegant. It's not gory. It's not scary and creepy. It's just pretty. So I'm going to show you all the products, but oh my goodness, this is just like the bomb. Now, before I get too much further, let me pull up my video here on my iPad so I can see who's joined me. I hope somebody has, because, you know, it'd be awfully lonely talking to myself all night. Let's see who's here. It's thinking. Okay, we're going to let it think. In the meantime, I will show you some products from this suite. So it's as I said, a product suite. So I'm going to get these guys out of the way. And I'm going to show you some of these products because they are pretty awesome. So suites are generally centered around a bundle, and this one is no different. So we have the Hallows Night Magic bundle in this suite. Includes a really fun stamp set with some great Halloween sentiments in beautiful fonts. Like, how gorgeous is that font? Love it. And then some really pretty artwork. Look how pretty those bats are. I would never thought in a million years I would say that bats are pretty, but look at that. It's gorgeous. This beautiful label, and then some spiders. And I'm not afraid of spiders, so spiders don't bug me. I think they're actually kind of cute. But anywho, so that is the stamp set, and then here are the dies. Now you might think these two don't really go together all that well, but this particular die cuts out this label. You're going to see that in action in a few minutes, and then we have this die that cuts out the bats. Okay. And we have this die that cuts out the spider. Okay, and then we have some dies that just cut shape. So this is a large tag. We have this border die, a flower and leaves, and then some more smaller bats. Okay, so that is the bundle. Okay, my video is finally loaded on my iPad. Let's see who's here. We got Kathy and Sue and Bonnie and Leith and Wendy and Laura and Louise and Violet. How are things? Are you getting snow in Wawa, Violet? I saw on the weather that there might be snow in your forecast. Not ready for that. Okay, so that's the bundle. All right, now, what makes a suite awesome is the accessories, right? Like the stamp set and the dies are great, but the accessories are fantastic. So first of all, let's talk for a minute about this gorgeous Cobwebs embossing folder. This is a 3D folder. You're going to see it on a couple of projects tonight. And it just adds awesome texture. And how awesome would that be for like Spider-Man cards for little boys? Like, how fun, okay? And then we have the gorgeous DSP. Now, the good news about this DSP is that it's on sale this month, okay? It's on sale for another couple weeks till the 31st. And it is beautiful. The DSP is what sold me on this suite. So we have this beautiful Blackberry Bliss. Look at that beautiful brocade and pretty peacock. You're going to see this one in action. That's Cajun Craze. More Cajun Craze. You're going to see this one in action tonight. And then we have a black and white. And then when I flip them over, we have all black and white images. So we have some bats, sort of a lacy spider web. We have more bats that actually work with the dies. So Stampin' Up! Has done it again. We've got DSP that you can cut images from with the dies. We're actually going to use that tonight. A beautiful black and white stripe, which is awesome for masculine cards, a gorgeous floral, and an argyle, or what is this, harlequin pattern maybe? The diamonds? I can't remember. I think that's a harlequin. Somebody can, Laura, you can tell me. I know you can. So that's the DSP on sale till the end of the month. And then we have this awesome ribbon. This is the metallic mesh ribbon, and it is not just for Halloween. In fact, it is gorgeous on holiday projects. I'm going to be doing a bunch with it. So we're going to see that in action tonight. And then we have these beautiful iridescent pearls. And again, not just for Halloween. So pretty. So That is the Hallows Night Magic. No, Magic in This Night Suite. I always get the names wrong. And honestly, you guys, hopefully by the time I'm done tonight, you're going to see what I mean about this being a gorgeous suite. So I put together a couple of sort of a his and hers little Halloween ensemble to show you tonight. So we've got a card and a Bath & Body Works pocket bag holder. I'll show you how that works. Now, some people might look at this and look at the flowers and go, that's not masculine. You know what? It totally can be. It totally can be. If you don't like it, color the flowers black. They'll be dead flowers, okay? All right, so here we go. I'm going to show you how to put this one together first. Uses tons of the DSP. I wanted to showcase this gorgeous DSP. Before we do any assembly, we're going to stamp and die cut our label. So we're going to stamp the label in some Memento Black. Okay, so again, whenever you're going to use color with Stampin' Blends, ooh, this is a really juicy Memento pad. You want to stamp with the Memento ink so that it doesn't run when you color. Okay, and I'm actually going to color this before I die cut just because it's easier. So we're going to do that real quick. So I used two colors of Stampin' Blends. I drew the colors from the DSP. So this is Light Cajun Craze and Light Pretty Peacock. And so I'm going to color my flowers with the Cajun Craze. And this goes pretty quick because I'm not doing any shading. I didn't color this ahead of time. I did a lot of stuff ahead of time. Don't worry, guys. You're not going to be sitting here watching me color all night. But I did want to show you how beautiful this stamped label is. So I'll just take a quick sec and color my flowers. Hope you guys didn't miss me too much on Tuesday. I do apologize for skipping out on you on Tuesday. I just was totally swamped. We had a holiday weekend here in Canada and I spent it die cutting and getting kits ready for my virtual retreat, which is coming up next weekend. So it was a busy, busy weekend, and there was no way you wanted to have me do a video on Tuesday. I would have been incoherent. So it was a good decision to move to tonight. So I'm glad you guys are here and hanging out with me for a little bit on Friday night. So there's my flowers in the Light Cajun Craze. Then I'm going to bring in my light Peacock, and we're going to color our leaves with the light Peacock. And really 2 strokes with the brush, and you're good. These leaves are pretty teeny tiny. And if you have a nice clean tip, like I still do, I don't know how that's possible because I've used this color a lot. My tip is still in pretty good shape on this one. It makes it really quick and easy to color these guys. Oh, Heather, you missed me. I'm sorry. It was just, honestly, I would not have been coherent. It was an interesting week at school, let me tell you. Yeah, not getting any rest on the weekend and then going back to, well, the reality that is COVID teaching was interesting. But, you know, it's the weekend now. I survived. So we're not going to worry about it, right? There's a glass of wine waiting for me upstairs when I'm done here. I was tempted to bring it downstairs, but I thought that might be a bad idea. You don't want to see me trying to stamp when I'm drinking. Okay, so there is my tag. All right, we are going to cut that out using this smaller label die and our Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So we'll bring in this bad boy, and I'm going to use my magnetic plate. Now I need to talk to you about this magnetic plate because there are some issues with it. I have not used mine a ton. I'm only using mine to die cut shapes that I'm stamping first. So I'm trying to really conserve it, but there have been a lot of issues with the magnetic plate bowing. So if you are thinking about getting this, wait. That's my advice to you. Just wait. Because Stampin' Up! Needs to address some of the issues with that. So they are looking into it. They are aware that there's a problem. So hold off. If you have the original magnetic platform from the old die cutting machine, the Big Shot, it totally works in this machine. Okay, so use that for now and stay tuned for a new and improved magnetic plate. All right, so I'm just rolling this through and we're going to die cut our tag. And you will see, isn't that pretty? So, so pretty. All right, I'm not going to fold this up because we're going to use it later again. Just set that aside. All right, so there's our tag. We are going to stamp our Happy Halloween in Pretty Peacock ink. So we'll grab that. Oh, your daughter's loving Halloween. Oh, I'm sure she would love this suite. It is an awesome suite. Like I said, I am not big into Halloween, but I am loving this. Okay, so I'm inking up my Happy Halloween. I am going to attempt to stamp this straight. It helps if your label is straight to start. I always get nervous when I'm doing this because, you know, I'm not looking straight down on it. Oh, not bad. Okay, I can live with that. Okay, so now it's just a matter of assembly. We've done all the hard work. So to start, the background on my card is a piece of that gorgeous DSP. It's the stripe on the back and the Cajun Craze sort of floral on the front. It's cut to 4 by 5 1/4 inches. And I'm going to adhere that, onto that rather, a piece of that harlequin or argyle, whichever, I'm not sure which it is, pattern. I didn't see if Laura answered my question. I'm hoping, I don't know if she did. So this is 1 1/2 by 4. Okay, so it's going to layer right across there about, oh, I almost forgot to put our pretty little die cut on there. So here is that beautiful edge die. Okay, it's cut from silver foil. It's actually going to go on here first. Almost forgot. But I caught myself. That's actually surprising, given how tired I am. Okay, so I'm just applying a little bit of adhesive to the back side, and I just want to see sort of half of the diamond shape there below. Okay, that's all I'm seeing. Now I'm ready to glue that onto my DSP piece. So I'll add a little bit more adhesive there, and it's going to go on about 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. I'm looking at the DSP, not the silver piece. Actually, that's an inch. There's 4 squares there. So we'll say an inch. Okay. So I'm looking at this is up an inch from the bottom. Okay. All right. Then we're going to add some sparkle with some of this awesome. Oh, it is harlequin. Thank you, Kathy. So we are going to go ahead and add that over top of that DSP, and it just looks like cobweb to me. So the easiest way to deal with this stuff is to lay down some tape on the back side, okay? And then I'm going to lay this across the front and then wrap the end around the back and press it onto the tape that I put down, okay? This stuff is super lightweight, so you don't need a lot of adhesive, but obviously it's going to show through if you put it on the front. So if you just put the tape on the back, you won't see it, and it holds that in place, okay? All right, next we have a couple more strips. Where did they go? Where did they go? There they are. So we have a couple more strips of DSP. So this one is an inch and this one is 3/4 of an inch. And I'm just going to bring in my tailored tag punch again. And we're going to add a little bit of a banner end. So again, I'm just going to center that and just pop that out. And same thing with this one. So both of these I think are 4 inches, and I will just trim it to length. Okay, so this one is going to go on actually right about as it is. I like that length. So we'll add a little bit of adhesive there and pop that on right about there. Okay. And then this guy, I want it to be a little bit shorter. So it's going to go on, and I want it to be a bit below, because when I put my tag on, I want to be able to see it peeking out. So it's not going to be in the center. It's going to be a little bit lower. So we're going to add a bit of adhesive there and layer that on. I love mixing DSP patterns, and this DSP makes it so easy to mix them. Honestly, it's fantastic. All right, and then this is going to go on here. Now, this is actually going to get popped up a little bit. Before we do that, we're going to add our bats. Now, these bats I stamped and die cut ahead of time. It is stamped in black ink on Pretty Peacock cardstock. Okay, look at the detail. It's so pretty, so pretty. And we're going to pop up our bats with a couple of dimensionals. So we'll use a big one on the body and then a couple minis on the wings. So we'll put that down. Now I'm going to just place my tag to get an idea of where I want this guy. So he's going to kind of be coming up from behind my tag like that. And then for our little guy, we're going to just use minis. So one on the body and one on each wing. Oh, I took a backing off, so we'll use that one. And get rid of these guys. Hey, Lindy, how are you? Hi, Martine. Oh, Louise, you're in isolation? I can't see the whole comment, so I'll have to go back and read it. I hope you're okay. That's concerning. All right. So again, I'm going to trim off the excess cardstock here. We'll get rid of that because we don't need it. And then we're going to add our label. And again, we're going to pop it up because we can and because I'm me and I'm addicted to dimensionals. And if you've been following me for any length of time, you know that. So I just realized this guy is going to overlap my bat. So I don't want that there. Excuse me. This is what happens when you talk all day and then come home and do a video. Sorry about that, guys. This top corner is going to overlap my bat, so I don't want a dimensional there. So we're going to go ahead and pop this on right about there. Okay. And then this whole thing is going to get layered. I still have a tickle in my throat. It's going to get layered on a piece of pretty Peacock cardstock. Okay. So 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 is the size of that. Oh, it's preventive. Okay, Louise, you're okay. I'm glad to hear that. Had me worried there for a minute. So we're going to go ahead and layer that. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape to the back of my panel. And we'll pop this on here just like this. And you're going to have just a narrow little 1/16 of an inch border peeking out. I just like having that little hint of the peacock to sort of tie the whole thing together. And then that is going to get layered onto a basic black card base. 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored in the middle at 5 1/2. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. And add a bit of adhesive. And we're going to just pop that right on the front of our card. Just like that. Isn't it a cool color combo, Diane? I never would have thought to put these together, but honestly, they totally work, and I love it. All right, now I want to show you how I did this little detail here. So this ribbon ties beautiful bows. You're going to see me make one later. But it also, you can get a really cool accent. So for those who are not fond of bow tying, you can still get a really cool accent. So I'm just taking some of the trim, and I'm sort of bunching it up, okay? And then I'm just going to tie a knot in the trim. So just like that, okay? And you can make it nice and tight. And then I'm just going to take and open that up a little bit and cut it at an angle. And it's almost going to read like a bow because this mesh is so wide. It works really, really well actually, and I kind of like the effect. So once you gather it back up, you kind of have this little bow-like accent. Okay, and that's going to go right down in the corner there. So we're going to add it with a glue dot. Just like that. Just pop that right in the corner. And you can fluff that up a little bit if you like. And then we're going to add a couple of these beautiful iridescent pearls. So I'll just take your pick, and we're just going to add a couple sort of here, there, and one more up here. Okay, so again, whenever you're using this kind of accent, you want to make a triangle, okay, that is visually pleasing to the eye. And that is your card. Now on the inside, I'll just show you what I did. I'm not going to take the time to do it tonight, but I added a Whisper White panel, stamped another sentiment, a cute little spider. And then to get these, I actually used the corner, the edge of the label die, or label stamp rather. Okay, and then, so I stamped a few along the bottom and then colored them. Okay, so there is your card. Now let me show you how to make this cute little pocket back holder. Just clean up my mess here. I'm gonna do the black again, so we'll keep that out. All right, so this little guy, super, super simple. In fact, there's no stamping on this because I already did the spider ahead of time. So we're not actually gonna stamp anything right now, but I'm gonna show you how to put this together. So it uses almost no supplies, like almost no supplies. To make the little box to put your pocket back in, you are going to need a piece of cardstock that is 3 1/2 by 3 inches. Where did I put my little post-it? I did have a post-it that told me how to score this, and it would be helpful if I had it so I don't screw it up. There it is. Okay. Nope, that is not it. Where did I put it? Oh, there it is. I have too many Post-it notes kicking around here. Okay, so 3.5 by 3 inches. Okay, piece of basic black or whatever color you want to use for your base. And then I'm going to bring in my trimmer. And we're going to do a little bit of scoring. And I'm going to try really hard to score and not cut because I don't use this trimmer normally. I only use it in my videos. So with my 3-inch side at the top, I'm going to score at 1 inch. 1 inch. Let's make sure that's straight. And 2 inches. Okay, quick and easy. Then I'm going to rotate it so my 3.5 inch side is at the top. And I'm going to score at 1. And 2.5. Okay, that's it. 4 score lines. Looks like a tic-tac-toe board, right? Okay, so then I'm going to bring in my snips. And on, this is the, throwing it across the room. 3.5 inch, this is the 3-inch side. So on the 3-inch side, I'm going to snip in from the edge along one score line to the first vertical. So I'm snipping along the horizontal score line, okay, to up to the first vertical. I'm going to do that on both. Okay, and then same thing on the other end. So just snip and snip. Now, something that I like to do when I'm making boxes, because I never ever cut these perfectly straight, I like to just bevel my slits a little bit because that allows me to sort of adjust the box to make sure it's square when I put it together. So all I'm doing is kind of cutting a little sliver of a triangle out, sort of on an angle. So I have like a little space. Can you see that? Does that show up? Okay. All right. So then I'm going to bring in my bone folder and we're going to fold and burnish along all of our score lines. Okay. And then to put our box together, it literally just kind of folds up on itself, just like that. Super easy. Okay. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive. My throat is still not right. Sorry, guys. That's got to be annoying to listen to. Put a little bit of adhesive on the middle tab. I'm going to bring the one side up and just line it up with that middle tab like that. Okay, same thing on this side. So I have a nice square box. And then I'm going to put a bit of adhesive on each one of these little guys. And again, bring this up and fold it in. Okay, and there's my little box that will hold my pocket back. Okay, simple. All right, now we have just a little strip of DSP. This is 3/4 of an inch wide by 3.5 inches. And it is just going to go on the front 3 sides of my little box here. Okay, so I'm going to just take a little bit of tape and we're going to start just in a little bit. So you see how I've got an equal border on all sides? Okay, and then I'm just going to wrap it around just like this. Oh, that one was a bit long. Let's just trim that off at just a smidge. There we go. Okay, so there is my little decorated box. Then I have one of the tags. This is the large tag die. Okay, so bringing these back, we have the small and the large. It's this one, okay, the larger tag. It's cut from Pretty Peacock cardstock, and I've embossed it using that awesome cobweb boulder. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and adhere my little holder to the bottom of the tag. So what I'm doing, if you want to see it from the back, I'm just lining up the 2 little points on the tag with the bottom corners of the box. All right. So I like to actually use a little bit of liquid glue for this because it gives me a little bit of wiggle time as I'm adhering this and getting it positioned. So I'm going to take my label and just line that up so that my 2 little points are lined up with the bottom corners of my box. Okay. Hey, Sue, how are ya? Hey, Diane. Jill, I got your gorgeous card. I meant to message you and I have not had a chance. Thank you so much for the beautiful card. It made my day. I gotta tell you. Absolutely love it. All right, so there is my holder. Now we're going to decorate it. So we have this is the second largest circle from the Stitch Shapes dies. Okay, I've cut it from that awesome Cajun Craze pattern, same one we used on the card. And then here are a couple of bats that I've cut from the DSP. So these aren't stamped, these are just die cut from the DSP. So we are going to adhere these guys. Now they need to be up fairly high, okay, because we kind of want them, we don't want them to be hidden behind our pocket back, right? So these guys are going to go up pretty high. We're going to add a couple of dimensionals. So I'm going to put one on the body, and then you need to kind of think about where you're going to adhere this to make sure that your dimensionals don't sort of hang off the edge. So I'm just going to kind of put them in a V right close to the body, and that way they won't be hanging off the edge when I adhere it, okay? And then we'll add this little guy over here. And for this one, I'm just going to use one on the body and one on the right-hand wing. And then I'm going to add a glue dot on the left-hand wing because it's going to overlap our big bat. So we'll pop that on just like that. There we go. Oh, stick you. Okay, and then that is going to get glued to the top of our box. So I'm going to use a little bit of tape because I want it to be sturdy. And I kind of want it to look like a full moon, right? Where the bats are kind of flying against the moon. So I'm going to put them right about there. And then my little pocket bag is going to go in there, and we're going to see the moon and the bats. And then we have one little addition, and that is a little spider's web. Okay, now I actually cut this from silver foil cardstock. Now this spider's web die is not in the Halloween Magic dies, okay? It is part of the Peacock dies, the ones that go with the little owls. I demonstrated those a couple weeks ago. And it's just so cute. I had to use this. I had to use the spider's web. So I cut this from silver foil, and I used some adhesive sheet on the back. And it's going to be interesting to try and peel off of here. Let's just see if that's going to work for me. There it goes. So we're going to peel that off. And hopefully most of our bits will come with it. Oh, about half. That one was not as good as it was when I made it. They were much better at coming off when I made my sample. There we go. I'll just get rid of those. And get them all off my finger. I'm going to have little silver bits on my fingers for days. Okay, so that is just going to get stuck onto the front of our box, just like that. And then we have a cute little Vellum Spider. I stamped this just in the Memento black ink and die cut it. Now you do need to give it a little bit longer to dry because the vellum is not as porous as regular cardstock. So I'm going to put a little mini dimensional on the body of my spider. And we're going to stick him on the front of our spider web there. And then I'm going to come in with a couple of pearls. So there are two sizes. I'm going to use the larger pearl for the body and the smaller one for the head. Just to make him sparkle and shine. Okay, and there is your cute little pocket back holder. Okay, and I thought the Noir collection or the Noir scent was kind of appropriate for this, for a guy. So there you go. There is a little Halloween treat for the man in your life or the men in your life. Okay, all right, so that is set number one. And then, of course, if I was going to do a set for the guys, I had to do one for the girls, right? And it had to be pretty. So let me pull in these two, and I'm going to show you. These are the ones that we are going to do for the girls, okay? All right, so let's bring in some products. And I have done a lot of this ahead of time, so this will go quick. So don't want you guys to have to spend your entire Friday evening with me. Okay, so to start, I have a piece of Cajun Craze cardstock. It's cut to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. It's square. Okay. And on that, I'm going to layer, pull out all of these bits here. I'm going to layer some of that beautiful DSP. This is that floral pattern. Okay. It's got the spider web, black and white spider web on the back. And I'm going to layer that. So this is 1.5 inches by 4 1/4. So 1.5 by 4 1/4. And then this is a piece of Blackberry Bliss. It is 1 3/4 wide by 4 1/4. Okay, so that's going to get glued just like that. Now, before we do that, we're going to add this little ruffle of spider's web along that bottom edge. So I'm going to show you how I did that. So I'm going to bring in my trim. I'm going to make it a fairly long piece because we're going to gather it. This is about 10 inches-ish, okay? And then you can actually, believe it or not, cut this in half and it stays intact. I wasn't sure it would work. I tried it and I was very pleasantly surprised to see that, yes, you totally can and it does not fall apart. So I'm cutting this in half lengthwise. So I'm going to have a half width, okay? Don't throw this away because we're going to use it. And then what I'm going to do is take my tape, and this step has to be done with tape, okay? It does not work well with anything else, so you have to use some kind of tape. And you are going to take your trim, and you're going to start with a little bit hanging off the edge. We'll trim that off afterwards, but you basically just kind of crumple it on there and just sort of gather it as you go across. I'm not really worried about it being even because honestly, like, only spiders do perfect spider's webs, right? And cobwebs are anything but perfect. They're just annoying. Okay, but there you get that cute little hint of a cobweb ruffle. All right, so then we're going to trim off the excess. We don't need these extra bits here. Okay, and it's okay if there's some extra stray threads because honestly, it's a spider's web, right? It doesn't matter. So then we're ready to layer that onto our Blackberry Bliss piece. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more tape here. Oh, you like that idea, do you, Diane? All right, so let's layer this. We're going to have about 1/8 of an inch above and below. So we're going to layer this on here like that. And we just want to make sure we still have that little ruffle sort of hanging out there. Okay, isn't that pretty? I love it. Honestly, who would have thought pretty Halloween? Totally, totally pretty. All right, so then this is ready to get glued onto our Cajun Craze layer. So again, Cajun Craze 4 1/4 square, embossed with the Cobweb embossing folder. And we're gonna layer that on about, I don't know, probably 3/4 of an inch up, maybe half an inch. I don't know. We'll eyeball it, see what we think. So I'm gonna add my tape and we're gonna glue this on. And I always, always, always use my grid paper. It's gonna be 3/4 of an inch. There you go. I made a decision. Okay, there you go. All right, next we're ready to put that onto our card base. So we have here a Blackberry Bliss card base. Okay, it's 8.5 by 5.5, scored in the middle at 4 1/4. So we'll fold that in half along our score line. Thanks, Sue, you like that one? I love this ribbon, honestly. I hope it carries over. I don't think it will, but I hope it does. One can hope, one can dream. So we're gonna go ahead and layer that. Now before we do, we're gonna do a little bit of stamping. Now, I'm not sure how well it shows up on the camera, but I have added some little spiders sort of creeping onto the card from the top and the bottom. So we're gonna do a little bit of stamping on this one. So I'm going to bring in my spiders here and some Blackberry Bliss ink. So there's 2 sizes of spider. We have a large and a small. So I'm going to start with my large one. And we're going to ink them up. And I'm just going to have them kind of creeping on. Now I'm not sure how well this is going to show up on the camera. It may not show up well at all because it's really dark, tone on tone stamping. So there is my large one. And then we're going to add a couple of little guys. Sort of creeping onto the page. And then a couple more here. Add these guys down here. There we go. Okay, now again, I'm not sure that shows up all that well on the camera because it is quite dark. But it adds, maybe I'll hold it up a little closer. Can you guys see that? It does add just a subtle little bit of texture and sort of creepy interest to the card. I just realized I didn't fold this very straight. Let's see if we can fix that up. Bone folder to the rescue. Okay. All right. Oh, Deb, you found me. I'm glad you're here. All right. So now we're ready to go ahead and layer that the cardstock onto the front of the card. So we're going to add a little bit of tape. You have to go slow and light touch when you're adding seal to an embossed layer. To keep it from separating and peeling up on you, do not press and go slow. Okay, that's my public service announcement for tonight. So this is going to go on 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom, or 3/4 of an inch down from the top. It does not matter because it will be equidistant, except this is not straight. So there we go. Okay. All right. All right. Now let's make this beautiful tag here. So to start, I have, look at this. I forgot to show you guys this. Oh, when I was showing you the product suite. Okay, so this is the black glitter paper, and oh my stars, you guys, it is absolutely stunning. Like, this stuff had better carry over. If it doesn't, I'm going to be buying up all of it before the catalog retires. So I have die cut the large tag again. And honestly, for those of you that are glitter phobes, this stuff does not peel off, okay? Like, it does not. It is fantastic. Fantastic paper. All right, so I've got that, and then I have a label. This is that same label that we used on the last card, but this time it's heat embossed in white cardstock on Blackberry Bliss. Sorry, it's heat embossed in white on Blackberry Bliss cardstock. It doesn't look completely different, like completely different when it's embossed in white. So I've die cut, I've done this all ahead of time for you. So we're gonna go ahead and pop that up on the front of our larger label. So we'll just add a couple of dimensionals. Thanks, Debbie. Oh, Debbie, I have to thank you for your card. Thank you so much. I went out to the mailbox earlier this week and found a beautiful Thanksgiving card. Thank you for thinking of me. It made my day. Honestly, you guys, getting handmade cards, like every time I get a handmade card in the mail, it just reminds me how important it is to actually send the cards that I make. Honestly, they're so, so beautiful. And I don't know what I did with my little spider web. Oh, there it is. Okay. I thought I had forgotten to die cut one. All right, so we're going to pop this up on the front of our card. So we're going to go ahead and add a couple more dimensionals. We're double popping tonight, you guys, because we can. And I have a rather large supply of dimensionals. Did you? Oh, you probably didn't. Dimensionals were on the low inventory list for a few days this week, and I just about had a heart attack. But they're off now, so we're good. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and it's going to be centered on my card. All right, just about there. You want to make sure that we're still seeing some of that cute cobweb frill out the bottom, okay? And then we're going to go ahead and adhere the flowers. So this is just fussy cut from the DSP. I just took my snips and cut it out. All right, and it's going to get kind of adhered in that bottom corner. So to do that, I'm actually going to put a dimensional right beside my purple label, and then add another little guy here and another little guy over here. And we'll get rid of these backings, assuming it wants to come off. There we go. Come on. They are not cooperating. And then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the back of my fussy cut flowers as well for the part that overlaps the tag. Okay, and it's going to go on right about there, just like that. Okay, then we have another one of those awesome silver foil spider webs. So we'll see if this one comes off a little better. Oh, look at that. That was golden. That's what was supposed to happen on the last one. And it didn't. All right, so we're going to tuck this in right here, kind of behind our flowers. And just press that into place. Okay, now we're going to stamp our sentiment. So the sentiment on this one, if I can find the stamp, there it is. It says trick or treat, and it's a long, narrow stamp, but I wanted it to fill my label. So I didn't cut up my stamp this time. We're going to actually cut up our stamped image. So I've got a little scrap of Whisper White cardstock here. And oh, Debbie, I totally enjoyed the card. It was so pretty. It's actually still sitting on my kitchen table. We have a little Lazy Susan sort of island in the center of our kitchen table, and it is displayed proudly right there. All right, so there is my stamp sentiment. And then I'm going to come in with my paper snips, and I'm just going to cut out the words. Like, fussy cutting a sentiment is not, it's not really hard. I'm basically just cutting straight lines. It really, I mean, you can get really, really fancy if you use a scripty font. I tend not to very often, but cutting out this, like, just straight text like this is super easy. So I'm just going to snip along my little hyphens there because I don't want them. So we're going to get rid of those guys. And one more right there. Okay. And then I'm going to pop these up. Now, these are really, really narrow. So they're too narrow for a full mini dimensional. But here's a little tip. You just take your paper snips and you cut up into your sheet of minis, and then you get half minis. And they work quite nicely for this. So I'm going to add a half mini here and a half mini there. Here a half, there a half, everywhere a half mini. Can you tell I'm tired? I'm a little punchy, you guys. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna stick trick. And then we're gonna add another little half mini on or. Come here. We'll add this little guy in here. Come on, don't stick there. I don't want you there. I want you in the middle. Put this little guy on here. Or. And then we have two more little half minis left for treat. One and two. And again, we get rid of our backings and pop this on. Hey, Lisa Ferber, how was your week? Are you surviving? Lisa is an elementary teacher in our board. And honestly, the elementary teachers have it so much worse than us high school teachers. So that woman, Lisa, you deserve a medal. So does every other elementary teacher. Okay, so there we go. Now we're going to do our little bow. Now look how cute and pretty this bow is. Like, honestly. So remember that half that we had from when we cut our ribbon in half? We're going to use that half to make a bow. So here we go. One bunny ear. This time I'm actually going to use my twine bow for this. I just found it worked better. So I made my one loop. I'm going to bring the tail around and through, and then just adjust the size of my loops. And it makes the prettiest, cutest little bow, partly because you can fluff it up, right? The twine or the mesh holds its shape really well, and you can fluff it up, and it just looks so cute and pretty. Jill, yeah, this year, honestly, but I gotta tell you right now, in our system, the way things are going, the elementary teachers, they're getting their classes reorganized like once a month. It's craziness. So yeah, it's crazy. We are facing a reorganization in secondary mid-November at the end of the first quadmester. So who knows? I don't know yet when I'm teaching, because what's on my timetable right now probably will not be there. But anyway, we're not going to talk about school because honestly, it's Friday and I don't want to think about it. So I've just adhered our little bow here with a glue dot. Okay, so I just press the knot of the bow into a glue dot, and then I'm just sticking it on and fluffing it up a little bit. Okay, and now here's the pièce de résistance for this card, and that is to do a little flicky flicky with some frost white shimmer paint. Okay, I wanted this card to really, really sparkle. So we're going to take our aqua painter or water painter. They're not called aqua painters anymore. And I'm going to just take and flick a little bit of that frost white shimmer paint all over the front of my card. And I love the effect of this. It just makes the whole thing so, so pretty. There we go. Okay, I don't know if you can hear my husband laughing. I don't know what he's watching right now, but he's in the next room laughing his head off. Okay, and then the last touch is to add a little extra sparkle to our flowers with the Wink of Stella. Okay, so we're gonna just shine them up a little bit. Okay, and then, of course, adding a bit of bling with some pearls. So we'll just kind of have a couple kind of peeking out down here at the bottom, and we'll put one more kind of halfway up, just like that. Isn't that pretty? So pretty. So, so, so pretty. All right, on the inside, I stamped a Happy Halloween and added some more creepy little spiders because they're fun. Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad you like those. Now, I'm going to show you the treat holder because honestly, a Halloween card is nice, but let's be honest, Halloween is all about the treats, right? At least for me it is. So let me show you. I used one of our square tins. So these are also in the August-December mini catalog. They're quite roomy. They're kind of the size of an Altoid tin. So when you open it up, look at that, it holds 4 caramels. Yeah, I'm not showing my family where those are. So it's super easy to make treat holders with this because you're just using DSP, right? It's really, really quick. And the awesome thing is, like when you're done with Halloween, you make a new wrap for Christmas and rewrap it, throw it in their stocking, voila, brand new treat. Nobody will ever know that you've recycled your tin. All right. Okay, so let me show you how to make that little wrap. It's super quick. So here I have a piece of that beautiful floral DSP. It is 9 by 3.5. Okay, so 9 by 3.5. And we are going to wrap this around our tin. So honestly, it is simply laying the DSP onto your work surface, wrapping it around, and securing it with a little bit of tape. Okay, so you kind of want to make sure, you could probably even get away with a shorter, you could probably get away with a 9-inch piece of DSP. It doesn't need to be quite that wide. Okay, or even an 8, probably 8 inches would work. Okay, so you're gonna glue it so that your seam is at the edge. So all I'm gonna do is take and add a little bit of tape along one end, not along both, because we don't want to stick it right to the tin, right? We want to be able to slide it off. And the other piece is you don't want to wrap it really, really tightly, okay? You want to be able to easily slide it on and off. If you do it too tight, it gets a little bit tricky to slide on and off. So as you're bringing this on, you just want to make sure that you're lining the edges of your DSP up so it's nice and straight, okay? Then we're going to bring in some of this awesome mesh again, and we're actually going to gather it. So I'm going to put a little bit of tape on the front of my tin. I'm going to sort of gather, like, well, mush together, for lack of a better word, my trim here. And then I'm going to bring it around and sort of squeeze it together and press it into the tape again. Okay, and then trim off the excess. Okay, so it kind of looks like it's tied, but it's not. Okay, it's just stuck down. All right, then we are going to layer labels. Now, I have to talk to you about this for a sec. So, on our card, where to put my card? We use the large label, right? The large label is too big for the tin. It's going to completely cover it, okay? I use the small label to cut out my tag. However, I'm going to show you a little trick to get a larger label that you can mat behind this one using this same die, okay? I'm going to show you a trick. I got to bring in my embossing or cut and emboss, and I've got a scrap piece of the black glitter paper. So I'm going to show you this nifty little trick. So I have my platform and my plate, so number 1 and 2. And then I'm going to bring in my 2 cutting plates. I'm going to put, now when I am using my cutting plates, I keep the same one on the bottom all the time. I flip it, okay, but it's always the same plate that's on the bottom. That helps it to stay flat, okay? And then I have my one for the top. This is not cut, these aren't cut marks. These are just score marks from rubbing against the dies as it goes through the machine, okay? But I'm gonna put this one on the bottom for a minute, and you're gonna see why. So I'm gonna bring my black glitter paper in. I'm gonna lay it down, and I'm gonna put my die on top, but I'm going to put the blade up. Okay, I'm actually going to do this on the back. I'm putting my glitter paper with the front side down. Okay, so I'm going to lay my label die onto the glitter paper with the blade side up. Okay, and then I'm going to put my plate on top. This is my plate that I always cut into. Okay, and we're going to roll it through. Oh, Jill, the spider is so real looking. It's awesome. And when you stamp it on vellum, it just looks so creepy. It's great. All right, so let me get this out of the way, and then I'm going to show you why I did what I did. So when I take my die off, you're going to see, can you see that I've sort of got a scored impression of the die? Remember, I put it on with the blade up, so I'm getting a scored impression of the outline of the die. Okay? All right, now I'm going to bring in my paper snips, and I'm going to cut along the outside of that scored impression. Now, I showed you a while back how to get a mat behind word dies where you can trace the die. And you could totally do the same thing with this instead of running it through and getting the embossed impression. The only problem with the black paper is if you're tracing with a pencil, it's really hard. And it also doesn't show up especially well on the glitter. So by running it through and getting the embossed impression, it's really easy to see. And when you layer your tag over top, you have a border. Isn't that cool? Such a great way to extend and expand the use of your dies. How did I come up with it? Well, Heather, a funny story. I tried to cut a label with the blade wrong side up. I wasn't paying attention. I went, oh, look at that embossed. Or I got the impression of the label, and then it just kind of went from there. So that's how I came up with it. Usually, innovation happens through mistakes, right? Okay, so let's finish putting this bad boy together. So I've got my mesh on there. We are going to layer our tags. So we're going to add, where did I put my dimensionals? Oh, they're hiding. There they are. Going to add a couple dimensionals to the back of our label. And we'll center that on our glitter label. And we'll have just a little bit, narrow little border. You know me and my narrow borders. I like them. And then that is going to go onto the top of our tin. Again, with a couple more dimensionals because we can. And dimensionals are cheap. Honestly, they're cheap and they're wonderful. All right, so let's get rid of the backings. We'll pop that on. That does not want to stay there. I'm going to just add a little bit more tape to make sure that that stays put. The dimensional will hold it down. So we're going to pop that on centered onto our label, or sorry, our tin. And then somewhere in this pile of stuff, I have another set of flowers that I've fussy cut. These ones, they're going to kind of go like that, I think. So this time I'm just going to glue them on because there's not a whole lot of overhang. So they're just going to kind of hang out like that. Okay. And then we are going to add another little bow. So I still have another little scrap of that mesh trim. So again, I'm just making a loop and wrapping the tail around to make my bow. Come on. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try that again. Here we go. And we'll just pull those ends out and make a cute little bow here. Violet, I'll remind you, I'll probably do it again. I'll probably do it by mistake in a video and, you know, forget to flip the die over and you'll watch me and go, oh yeah, that's how she... I'll do it without meaning to do it. How's that? You'll see it again, guaranteed. All right, so we're going to trim our tails a little bit here. And we're going to press that on to our tin. Again, glue dot under the nut and just press that into place. And then again, where did I put my scrap? We've got a little scrap of white cardstock here. And this time we're going to stamp open if you dare. And we are going to fussy cut again. Now this one's a little bit trickier to fussy cut because of the sort of scripty font on open. But it's not horrible. It's totally doable. So we're going to cut straight across and then I'm going to kind of follow around the O. And again, as always, when you're fussy cutting, move the paper, not your scissors. I'm going to cut straight down here and then continue this around here like this. Come around my O and my P and then straight across again. Okay, so there's open. We're going to cut off the bottom here for dare. Just cut straight across there. And then if you is so teeny tiny, I'm going to keep the two words together because if I tried to do them separately, I don't think I'd ever be able to glue them on. It would drive me insane. So again, we're going to bring in some half minis here. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you could join me too. It's nice to see you. It is a great way to start the weekend. I wish I could do this with you guys every week. I really, really miss seeing you guys twice a week. But honestly, right now, my life at school is just a little bit of chaos. And it's only going to get worse because next quad, as far as I know, well, I'm contractually obligated to teach 2. So I will be going all day long with no break, which I'm sure Lisa knows all about, because the elementary teachers are, it's crazy what they're having to put up with. Anyway, we won't talk anymore about COVID. This is too wide. We are actually going to cut an even narrower little strippy here. So I'm going to use just a narrow little sliver from the edge, and that should do it. Pop that on there like that. Yep, totally worked. Get rid of our backing. And we'll pop these onto the front of our tin here. All right, you guys are good to stick with me. I'm doing 4 projects tonight. I just couldn't resist. This suite is so much fun. So open, if you, and one more. The backings are sticking to my sticky fingers. There we go. Isn't that cute? Oh, it's crooked. No, don't be crooked. Be straight. There we go. All right. There is a sweet, sweet little treat. Yes, you like? I hope you guys like. All right, so let me bring them back. Clean up my mess here a little bit so you don't have to look at it all. So we have hers, and we have his. There we go. You like those, you guys? I hope you guys like them. All right, you guys, that is it for me. I am signing off for the weekend. I'm going to be spending the weekend cutting more cardstock for another virtual class that I have coming up. So it's going to be a busy, busy weekend in the studio. But I hope you guys have a great weekend wherever you are. And don't forget to be kind to yourself and to others. And just have a great weekend. Okay? Thanks, everybody, for joining me. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.